Hello, everyone, and welcome to race 2 of our ODE to Gran Turismo tournament. It's been a fun-filled first week, and we cannot be more excited to get racing at Laguna Seca with our Group B participants. While the participants are out there qualifying on the track in the Group 3 cars, I also want to introduce our commentary team. As always, I have the Ancient Pleb with me, but we also have a special guest in the form of Santosh, who races for Group A. Pleb and Santosh, say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Hello guys, welcome for the Group B race. This is at Laguna Seca, and I think this race is going to be a lot of fun because it's going to have a lot of different strategies involved. So it should be a very interesting one.
Yeah, I can't agree more than that with Ancient Pleb Aditya Raghu because when we speak of WeatherTech Laguna Seca, we discuss about corkscrew turn, which is quite interesting, where we can see a lot of incidents today. Hope we will see some good action in the race, so I'm looking forward for the race.
That sounds like
Yep.
an amazing thing to look forward to. Okay, so here's the deal. We have about 6 minutes of qualifying time left with Crispy Bacon in first position. So that's a very good time with the RCZ. The Wildest Monk right behind him as well, just about 2/10, the gap between them. Zolo in that beautiful Mazda in third position. Just a 10th behind him is Fierceby. And I think Fierceby's in the... Yes, he is. He's in the Supra. We have Sushi, who's like... He's been in the group, but this is the first race that he's taking part in. He is in the Supra as well. Just a little bit of lag issues here and there, so we'll try to not focus too much on Sushi, otherwise people will get distracted. Just below him is Burst Mode in the Dodge Viper. He's about 3.7 seconds behind, but remember the Viper gets a massive boost off the line, so he can easily make up a few positions, and the way this track is laid out, it gets really difficult to overtake. Junior Kickass in 7th position in the Nissan. I think he has a few dents in him there. But right now he's about 9 seconds behind Zolo, who goes into first position with a 21.6. That is a crazy time. What do you think, Fleb?
Yeah, actually, any time in the 21s, like early to mid 21s, should be very good. So I think even 20s are like mid 20s are definitely possible, but for race pace and for qualifying, like early 21s and a bit later than early 21s is also like a solid time.
While we talk about that, Sushi has gone into second position. He has done a 21.9, which is actually a good time. Santosh, from the perspective of the Group A people, who are probably going to be a little bit faster than this one. Looking
Yes.
at the skill level, and especially because it's Group B, all of the people have been divided up on basis of their qualifying times when we had the qualifying session before the tournament began. What are your thoughts? We seem to have some good competitors in the top 4.
For now, yes, I strongly believe that we have really good competitors in top 4, and as you know, as we progress into the closing stages of qualifying, we might be seeing some amazing laps. Already see we have people coming in for pits for changing tires, so let's see how new tires, low fuel changes the results at the end of the qualifying. I'm looking forward for that.
Absolutely. So right now, I think just about 3 minutes left, and let's okay, so looks like Pleb is coming out of the pits on a fresh set of tires. We'll try and get on him, once he goes in for a hot lap. Zolo's doing the same. Crispy Bacon does a 21.6. Okay, so the times are flying in now. I think this is gonna get very exciting in the last couple of minutes. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
yeah, I think Abby, I think there is an issue in the lobby. I'm not sure from my end, because I think for me, people are a bit jumbled. But anyway, yeah, it does show Crispy as having 21.6. And if I'm not wrong, it's Fierce B in P2. So Fierce B is also a really quick
Yeah, so
player.
Zolo just went into P2. He did a
Okay.
21.690, 400ths of a second behind Crispy
Okay.
Bacon. So this is getting really interesting. We ran a poll earlier on our YouTube channel asking who's gonna win this race. Or rather, if the wildest monk is going to win this race, and almost 70% have said the wildest monk is going to win this race, but the wildest monk is in fifth position, and the best he's been able to manage is a 122.1. Okay, let's go on board the wildest monk, and Pleb, why don't you take us on a lap?
So as he's entering right now, this should be T3. It is very vital to stay wide and have a good entry. It's a bit of a late apex, so that you get a good exit over here, which is mainly a lift off and coast, and then get on the throttle as quickly as possible kind of corner. Here as well, it's a bit late braking, and then you turn in, and the upcoming corner is a very risky one. If you miss it by even the smallest of margins, it unsettles the car a lot, especially if you drive over the curbs on the left. And heading over to corkscrew, this is a very tricky corner. Certain cars take this very well. I think Monk did not have much of an issue there. And coming down here, it is pretty simple. These corners, the last set of corners, all you have to do is just hit your apexes, and that will give you a good exit speed. Same for the last left-hander as well. It's almost a 90-degree left-hander. So there's nothing much to say for the last corner. So I think the trickiest corners on this track are corkscrew and the one corner that leads up to corkscrew. I think if you nail those, you can make a lot of time. And I think Monk moves into P4 with that lap.
Absolutely. So Monk, at least on my screen, he's in P5. So I think the way we have it set up on Discord, at least for the three of us, you'll be able to see my screen and look at what these guys are doing as well. So take a look if you can see that. But disappointing from the wildest monk. He was just in fifth with a 22.1. I'm not really sure what's happening there. Crispy Bacon, he looks like he's going in for a good lap. Fierce be out there giving way to both of them. Okay, Zolo in second position. Santosh, I know you've not driven this car much, but take us through what Zolo is doing and how would you do something different?
Speaking of the Mazda, it's pretty good on fuel, and because of its lightweight, what I will do is I will try to brake late into corkscrew or maybe into the next consecutive turns, and if the car tries to unsettle, I will try to trail brake toward the corners so it doesn't impact my pace, and I can use the momentum of Mazda to attack those corners. And I believe that since we have Zolo in P3, let's see how this pans out once he kicks back onto the main straight behind that Dodge Viper. Can he make into P2 or P1? Let's see how it goes. So it seems that he got a 121.7, could not be able to get into P1, P2, but seems a P3 is a strong place for a Mazda. And speaking of fuel efficiency, I think Mazda can bag a P1 or a P2 once we are.
I hate to stop you there, Santosh, but it looks like Sushi has gone
He has
300ths
taken,
of a second, and he has gone for pole position with a 121.613. This is a complete shakeup, and Sushi just disconnects. Oh, that's
think-
just so disappointing for him. It was on it was a near perfect lap as well at 21.6 in Group B.
he was having.
He would be
a bit
kicking
of-
himself right now, don't you think?
network issues. That's quite unfortunate. But the game has all these network issues, so players do face these issues at times. It's nothing that they can really do much about.
Right.
Yeah.
So looks like sushi is back. So I mean, it doesn't look like an internet issue. It looks more like a lobby issue. Maybe what we can do is see how like how we did it the last time. Just do a manual start. Put sushi at the back, and hope that it works out well for him. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
That
I
would be
think that
the
should be,
solution.
yeah, that should be fine. I think we can go ahead and do that.
Perfect. So while I get all of this done, why don't you guys, talk to yourself a little. I mean, talk amongst yourself a little bit, and I will get the lobby and everything set up, and we can get back to it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Santosh, give me your predictions. Who do you think is going to take this race?
Uh, I believe that Crispy Bacon, with the interesting choice of
Hmm.
RCC, seems to be very competent. And moving into Zolo, I believe he can either back P2 or P3. But Wildest Monk is a very good on the strats. So let's see how his strats can put him into the podium. How
Yeah,
about you, Aditya?
I think Crispy, Monk, and Zolo are going to give us a very exciting race. Because I think based off of the last couple of races that we saw Monk in, he is very consistent, right? So he is always able to maintain his race during the laps, and he barely does mistakes. So that should see Monk, being in the top of the field. And I think you guys like Fierce B. I mean, he has improved a lot. As far as I remember, when he joined our group, he was, I would say, not as quick as the others, but now he is pretty much there. He's right there with everybody else.
And
So
to be honest, Aditya, when we say that we are seeing drivers improving, it seems that drivers are getting better every race. So
exactly,
when we boil
yes,
down to the final race around Nürburgring, we would be seeing a huge improvement in others' performance, and I think the top guys will be giving a run for their money. I
definitely.
would
I
like to see
think
that.
a lot of us in our group have improved a lot in the past couple of months and years. And I I think to everyone here, either be it in group A or group B, each person like always ends up having a very good race when we are racing together, right? I mean, there are issues here and there, but pace
Yes.
wise, it's always the tight race.
As you say, according to the pace wise, I believe, since the newcomers, especially speaking of Group B participants, has an amazing opportunity to look at the top leaders, can be Wildest Monk, Crispy, or maybe Fierce P, and they will start imitating these guys once the race settles. They will observe
Yeah,
what the top guys are doing and they will try to mimic so that they can match the pace. And it's kind of a continuous improvement for the last bunch of the racers in the top bottom.
definitely.
uh,
And I think you also get to learn a lot
yes.
when you see players who win. For example, if any one of the guys win from this one, and the others can learn a lot from their strategies and where you can save fuel and where you can change tires, what tires would last for how long. It's all about tire management and fuel management.
Yes.
More than raw pace, all of these should also be taken into consideration, right? Because it definitely changes the race by a big margin.
And what we are talking about is not a sprint race. We are talking about an endurance race for which,
Yep,
we need to consider a lot of factors like tire management, fuel management, and also you will have to not negotiate on your momentum. So when we speak of momentum, we are talking about the whole race pace. I believe a good 122 lows for first stint. For first stint, I mean for first 11 laps
hmm.
would be an amazing tiebreaker, because if you are into low 122s until lap 11, and you get a very good advantage once after lap 11, because you'll be having fresh tires and low fuel if you want to pit, and you can start cracking high 121s in the second stint. That will make you either gain the podium or places, depending on where you are situated at the end of the race.
Yeah, I think for today's race, the tires are not going to be much of an issue,
Yep.
because I think based on the practice races we noticed that uh, tires do last, the racing softs do last, for an entire stint. So some players might go in for a no stopper as well, but it's a risky thing. You have to make sure that that is a strategy that you are going to do at the beginning of the race itself. In case, let's say halfway through the race, you realize that you want to do this, the no stopper, it might be too late for you because you might not have saved enough fuel, right?
Yes.
So I think whatever strategy you want to use, it should be decided within the first 2 laps.
100%. I can't agree more than that because when we are going into close racing, the first 2 laps or first 3 laps will actually determine your mindset. You know, the mindset you are going into
Definitely.
racing is
Yep.
pretty much controlled by how you perform in the first 2 laps. And if we believe that our starts are pretty good, we settle early into the race, can be at the end of lap
Yeah.
one or the beginning of lap two. That's where you seal your strategy.
All
And
right, guys, let's get
The
this
race is
done. So the
just about to
race
start.
is about to start. This is going to be a good one. Just trying to see if I can go on board someone over here. So I'll go on board Zolo, who is in second position, and the lights. We have 5 lights. I think it's off. Everyone is off. Crispy Bacon gets a good start. Wildest Monk, look at that start from Wildest Monk. He is
AMG is
already,
really
he is
good at the
already
start.
in first position. That is an amazing start from the Wildest Monk. You love to see that. What do
That
you
is the
guys think?
exact start he would have wanted. Oh, and I think we do have uh in the back. I think Junior Kickass does end up spinning out. Um,
yes.
but Abby, I think you have Sushi Maker who has glitched out on the grid.
Right. So yeah, sorry about that, Sushi. I don't think we can really do much about it. What we can try to do, however, is sit down, maybe get all of these lobby issues sorted. But with that out of the way, I just love what the Wildest Monk has done. Maybe we can get on a replay. Can we? I think we can. So
Yep.
let's go on board the Wildest Monk. He's starting in fourth position, just waiting for the lights to go out. Pleb, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think the Mercedes was a very good choice by him. I think he, when
Look
looking
at
at
that
that, he's
start
got
he
like
gets.
great
Oh
start
my lord. He just goes past everyone, breezes past like they're not there, and then overtakes Crispy Bacon on the outside of
outside.
turn one. This is stuff that everybody loves to see.
But I think overtaking on that corner on the outside helped him a lot for the next corner, as he was on the inside for the next corner. So he is still maintaining a good lead over Crispy Bacon. So if he can just maintain this, I think he has the race.
Oh, and you know what? Another surprise is Dinesh DB. What happened with him? He looked like he was far back. Maybe our replay cameras caught that. No, so we only have the replay from the last lap, but still in fourth position. That's a good place for him to
That is
be as
quite
well.
good. Yep, that is a good place for DB. He is. I think he also has put in a lot of time in practice sessions. So that is showing his pace on track right now.
Looking at the gap between DB and FreeSP, it seems FreeSP will be having a lot of opportunity to make moves once the race settles, because we might be seeing some tough competition between P3, P4, and P5. And what do you think, Abhi? Do you believe that P3, P4, P5 will be having different strats once we settle down into the first half of the race?
That's the thing, because I know for a fact that because I've practiced with all of these guys, Fierce B would want to emulate a more non-traditional strategy. Like, see, the traditional strategy here is you drive, and as I say that, Fierce B is trying to go for a move on Dinesh. Dinesh holds him off onto, but I think Fierce B on the next corner is going to have a good if he can have a good exit, I suppose. But let's go
Seems
on board
both of them
Fearby.
had a very good exit, so I think
think he's
this
a
will not
bit.
unfold until corkscrew.
He is a bit far behind, unless DB does make a mistake. I think it would be safer for Fierce B to wait for the straights or a safer corner rather than the corkscrew, unless he gets a good exit, which I think he does, but I think it would be safer to stay behind him. Let's see what happens.
Wow, Fiersby, I think he tried to play the switchback. Okay, Dinesh has to go wide on the corkscrew. I mean, he has to cut the corner. So he's probably going to get a little bit of a penalty. These guys are fighting hammer and tong for 4th and 5th, while the Wildest Monk has already garnered a 2.5 second lead from Crispy Bacon. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Crispy Bacon and Zolo going into turn 1. Do you think there's an overtake on here?
There should be, I think, and Zolo does it. If he
Zolo,
can keep it on the outside.
Yeah, he could not. I think he just ran out of space just a little bit. He's gonna make that move into. He's gonna make that. He did try making that move. I think he has made that. He has made that. So Zolo moves into 2nd position with Crispy Bacon following him. For the meanwhile, do you think Crispy Bacon might want to go for a move into this corner? Oh, I think he tried. He was just a little too far back. So it's nice and safe racing from both of these guys. At least, I mean, the more you fight, the more you're slowing yourself down, and that's the whole point. I mean, these guys are already 3.7 seconds behind Ankur.
Exactly.
Let's try and
between Fierceby and DB. Maybe it seems Fierceby took the opportunity and sealed the opportunity, so he climbed up from P5 to P4.
He has, and he has already built up a 3-second lead.
Okay, let's see if our replay cameras caught that by any chance. So, wow, we just see Dinesh just struggling to exit out of that corner. I think his car just went out all of shape. Look at Zolo. So I'm just going to go on board Zolo for the overtake here. He tries to make that move on the outside. He almost makes it stick.
His braking was on point.
Yeah, but I think he gave a little too much space to Crispy Bacon. So Crispy Bacon took advantage of that. But coming onto this corner, yeah,
to the next corner, and he was able to make that move. So that is good for him.
Yeah, I think just a hint of a touch between those guys, but all in all, very, very fair racing. I mean, they're giving each other space. They're not driving the other one, out of track.
Yes.
They're making sure that the racing happens. But while they do all of that,
when P2 and P3 went into those corners, I had a little bit of hiccup because I was expecting something going, in another way. But glad how these guys displayed sportsmanship is really good. Without crashing into each other, they maintained the pace. They gave space to each other, and that was a very good, clean racing there.
and that's the thing, when you have a community of people who, race against each other, who know how the other things, what kind of racecraft the other person has, I think it gets easier to give that person space, because whenever you try and make an overtake, it's not just you have to trust the car that you're overtaking as well to, not impede you, not get in the way and things like that. So, partly because these guys know all about clean racing, but also partly because they know that if they're found guilty, they're going to have a big punishment, as we told out last week as well. So I think that is a very good deterrent factor for these guys.
And even this track seems to be not compromising, because it starts giving out penalty when you start cutting corners around corkscrew. So drivers are very aware of that. They don't make any moves while heading into corkscrew, because either they can lose the race position or they can have a risk of getting the penalty.
Absolutely.
And I think
go ahead, Pleb.
Yeah, I think I was just being on board Zolo, and he is managing to pull away inch by inch from Crispy. He is carrying a
I think he's gotten
speed.
a good gap, about 2.7 seconds.
So he's carrying a good amount of speed through corners, certain corners compared to Crispy. So I think that is where he's gaining all of his time. He's probably trying to push to catch up to Monk.
And also, let's not forget that the fastest lap is set by Zolo, so it means that he is already in total control of his capabilities throughout Laguna Seca, and he will nail those corners once we head into the stint.
Yeah, while you were saying that, the Wildest Monk does a 22.1. So let's not write him off just yet. They're both going for it.
Battle. Yeah.
So
I wonder if they are fuel saving though.
I don't. Do you think they are?
Zolo does seem to be short shifting just a little.
Okay. So we're looking at Zolo and we're
let's-
looking at his telemetry information as well. Okay, so it does look like he is short shifting a little bit. What about Ankur? Yeah, he does not look like he is short shifting. So
Yeah, I don't think so. Not a lot.
yeah,
He
but
is short shifting
but you
though.
know what's interesting? The fuel level for both Zolo and Ankur is exactly the same, like pixel perfect, the same. Right, we're looking at
It
Zolo
is.
right now, and you can look at his fuel meter, and then we look at the Wildest Monk. It feels like the fuel meter hasn't even changed, but it has, and there's no difference between these guys. So while we do this, I also want to look at the other guys. How what kind of strategy are they playing into? So Crispy Bacon has a bit more fuel than these guys. He's short shifting as well, so I'm not really sure if he wants to go for the all nice and
No stop.
the no stopper, which is going to be very very difficult, especially in cars where they tend to eat up a little bit of
I think
fuel.
you tried that, Abhi, right?
I
During the
did. I've
practice sessions which
I've
we had.
only tried the no stop in all the practice sessions, and we did a practice session yesterday, which I won by about a second from
Yeah.
MJ or Duki Atma, who also did a no stop. So the thing is, if you can keep it between the lines, if you do not crash, if you just make sure that you're super consistent, the no stop is a very viable strategy.
And what you believe, Abhi, is, as you said, that you did a note stopper. How was your fuel management? Maybe if you could comment, like, were you moving to different mixes, or were you stick to the one mix that we know as a rich mix?
Right. So what I tried to do in the previous practice sessions was just go for it. No changes in mixes or anything like that. While I'm talking about, I'm also gonna keep an eye on Zolo, who looks like he's been gaining
He
on
is
the
slowly
Wildest
inching
Monk.
up.
Yeah, the gap, which was about 3.5 seconds, is now down to 2.0.
Pretty much
Wow.
2 seconds. Yep.
Okay,
And
so
also,
this.
let's not forget the competition between P3 and P4. It seems PSB is also closing on to Crispy Bacon. Something interesting might happen in the next few laps.
Okay, so
Definitely.
the gap remains the same between. I mean, the gap between Fiersby and Crispy Bacon is almost the same as the gap between Zolo and the Wildest Monk. So I think this is going to be an important stage of the race. I think Wildest Monk, either he's starting to conserve a bit more fuel, planning to do a no stop, or I think we'll see that once we're down to 15 minutes remaining. But coming back to the strategies. A no stop is definitely possible. The ways that I've tried them is I did one race with no fuel map management at all. Just regular short shifting. I wouldn't even call it short shifting. I would, let's say, shift up to fourth, and as soon as I got to about 1000 RPM, I would just shift back up again. And Zolo makes a mistake there. Yes, he did. Did anybody catch that?
It is.
And it seems the car exited over. Let's see if
He's lost another 2 seconds to Monk.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's so key on this track. Like you have to be very consistent with your car placement, your braking, all of the time. Like if you make mistakes, you lose. Like he did. He lost almost about 3 seconds here. So single mistake, 3 seconds down the drain, and especially if you're doing a no stop, all of these mistakes just come back to haunt you.
It's also worth noting that if you are in P2 and trying to push for P1, you are always trying to go faster in each corner, right? So maybe that is why he kind of made a mistake in one of the corners, because he's trying to bring that gap down, and it always happens when you're trying to catch up to someone, you end up doing a mistake, and now he has to make all of that gap all over again.
That sounds about right, because yeah, Zolo was catching. Oh, he makes a mistake again.
just when you're talking about him, he goes and
Lost it.
So the
that's quite
corkscrew claims
unfortunate.
another victim. Zolo rejoins the track safely, but he's now into fourth position. He would be kicking himself, especially with all of those brilliant overtakes that he did. From 1.9 seconds behind Monk to 11.9 seconds. 10 seconds in 2 laps. That's a no-stop strategy just gone. What do you think?
I think, yeah, easily. And this should make Monk feel very confident. He has a lead of 10 seconds, pretty much 10 seconds over Crispy. And I think now Monk doesn't have any pressure on him. So he can just go about setting fast laps and have a very good chance of winning the
We
race.
also see that Monk is slowly approaching back markers. It means that he has to pass through the back marker, and also people behind has to pass through the back marker. So short shifting and a lot of fuel conservation plays a very good role in his race strategy or maybe pace. We can expect really good short shifting and fuel saving on that AMG.
But we need to see if Crispy is planning for a no stopper, because he does have half a tank and the race is halfway done. So if he can go for a no stopper, I think he would have around 12-second lead over Monk when Monk comes out of the pits.
I think it will
Because I think
be.
if
I think it will be
Season.
larger. So, it does make a lot of sense because I think Crispy Bacon Monk. I think he goes into the pits. So that's
He does
a
go into the
one-stop
pits.
strategy confirmed. Crispy Bacon looks like Fierceby as well. He's right on the cusp, but he has to save a little bit more fuel. But Crispy Bacon is in the soft spot.
He is.
He's in the Goldilocks
So-
zone, 50% fuel remaining, 50% of the race left. Now, here's the interesting bit. When the Wildest Monk comes out, he's going to come out behind all of these other guys,
He's gonna have a lot
Zolo
of
and...
traffic.
Exactly. So he has to go through a lot of traffic, and this track is not really so wide that you can easily go through traffic and all of that. But looking at the Wildest Monk right now, he's about 21 seconds behind Crispy Bacon. So
This is quite interesting now.
now this
I-
turns very, very interesting. So Crispy
Quick
Bacon,
math, a little bit of math. Since we have like around 9 laps left, even though Wildest Monk starts tracking 121s, he can be very close to Crispy at the end of the race.
let's look at this. So Crispy Bacon, he did a 23.6 on the last lap. And Monk, I don't think he'll be able to manage 21s or high 21s or mid 21s throughout the race. I think he'll settle down within 22s. So right now I think we have about 10 laps remaining. If he loses a second and a half every lap, he still has
pretty
that
much.
cushion. He still has that cushion to the Wildest Monk.
While we speak of
Oh,
this,
he
it
makes
seems
a mistake. as
Almost.
well.
Oh my god, that was quite close. He almost lost it over there. He is pushing.
we
He's
see a
really tell he's pushing right now.
between Zolo and Fierceby. It seems now Zolo is into P2.
Yeah, but Zolo doesn't really have the fuel, so I think he has to go into the pits. Fierceby and Zolo, I mean, there's not much of a difference unless Fierceby switches to like lean mix 5 or 6 in the slipstream of Zolo, which I don't think he'll have for long.
Yes.
I don't think anybody on here is going to do a no stop except Crispy. So all eyes on this man. It is his race to lose. All he has to do is be consistent and churn out the same lap times that he has done during the races as well. Actually, let me see if I can pull up all of his info. Look at that consistency from Crispy Bacon.
His
Mid-
laps are all in the mid 23s.
Exactly. And the Wildest Monk, he was doing like mid 22s before he went into the pits. So just a second of an advantage. Let's see what lap time he has for this one. I think he made a slight mistake coming out of the last corner, like when the previous lap started. But
Yeah.
okay, he does a 21.9. Wow. So, what are your guys' predictions? Tell me, tell me, tell me.
As I believe that since we are almost 8 laps away from the finish, if Wildest Monk can stick to high 121s, we can either see him being in P3 or P2. But let's see, he's cracking in a lot of purple sectors, how this lap turns out to be. But speaking of Crispy, and with his consistency, he has that P1 lock for now. Let's see how race pans out.
All right. While these guys are, just going about their business, I thought we'll take a look at all of the other drivers. We've been talking a lot about Crispy and Monk. So Zolo, I think we did talk about him. Not a very good showing from him. I think he'll dive into the pits probably this lap or the next one, unless he really wants to do a very late no stop. Fierce B is right behind him, doesn't really have that much in terms of pace, at least for now. His last lap is a 25.5. The Wildest Monk, we did talk about him quite a lot, so let's talk about Dinesh. 38 seconds behind Wildest Monk. But like when the race started, I think he got a good start, don't you think, Pleb?
Yeah, he did. Sorry, I did get cut off a little while back. So I think he is trying to keep uh, with the other guys, but his pace is not there yet. But this could be a very good chance for him to evaluate and see how players are like racing, and he could look back at the replay and see where he's exactly losing time. And I think he needs to like probably fix his lines on some of the corners, as I'm being on board with him right now. So I think that would help him get a quicker pace. But right now, I think for him, what would be really important is to try to keep consistent laps and see if he can improve his race pace on each lap, and his strategy. If he can do, I think, oh, he did pit in, right? Yeah, he did pit in.
He did pit in. So
So
talking
yeah,
about these guys who are a little bit newer to this whole ecosystem, just they're just trying to get their feet in, just learning a little bit as much as they can from the other drivers, but competing nonetheless. I think that's a very good sign because they're not quitting midway. They're sticking at it
yeah.
till the end, trying to learn as much as they can. Santosh, what are your thoughts on burst mode?
So it seems that burst mode seems to pit in at the end of this lap. As we see, his fuel is a bit low, and yeah, it is actually a very good learning experience for the people in 678, because they tend to learn a lot from the P1, P2, P3 guys. They try to mimic, and it's all about continuous improvement. So we can see now burst mode is almost close to pits. Let's see if he is going to pit in or not.
Okay, so while burst mode does that, I also wanted to look at Junior Kickass. Um, he is a very, very new driver. I know that for a fact. But again, I just wanted to, I just feel a real sense of pride looking at all of these guys because I've been there, right? Pleb, I've been there, struggling at the
Yeah.
back of the field. But one thing that, and I have no qualms or shame in accepting that, I used to be about 4 or 5 seconds a lap slow from all of these guys, constantly making mistakes. And Ankur, or the Wildest Monk, he was my teammate when I participated in a league like this. Um, he told me that, don't quit, just stay there. What's the worst that can happen? You'll finish last. You're already finishing last. So just stay there. You know, get it all in, soak it all in. The more you look at all of these faster drivers, the better you'll get a understanding of yourself. And I think this is something that I implore all of the newer drivers to do as well. No matter where you are, no matter how many times you get overtaken, just stay there, persevere. You'll get faster in no time. This is just the beginning.
Yes. I definitely agree with Abhi on that, because we require you to race and learn a lot. So this is not more like an opportunity for you to grab things what the top leaders are doing, and you can start implementing them. It's all about continuous improvement, guys.
Absolutely. And I also wanted to talk about Tyson because this is his first race. He joined the tournament just a few days ago. I had a chat with him yesterday and told him, it's going to be a little new for you, and all he wants to do is have fun, take part, and be part of the community, which I absolutely love. So I want to wish Tyson all the best. He will. I'm sure he's gonna get faster and faster as time moves on, and I want to do the same for all of the other guys as well. Burst mode. He's been there in our lobbies a few times, but he couldn't really get up to consistent racing because of schedule. So I hope hopefully that turns around now for him. Junior as well. We just want to see him improve. But I also want to give a shout out to Dinesh, because when the tournament started, or when we were qualifying and stuff like that, he was, in terms of raw pace, in terms of qualifying pace, he was quite a bit further behind all of the top guys. So he's brought that gap down quite a lot. But I think he has to start working on his consistency a little bit as well. Oh, okay. So there's been a change in the roster. The Wildest Monk has overtaken Zolo and Fierceby.
I think, Abby, I think it looks like Fierceby and Zolo. I'm not sure about Zolo, but Fierceby might also be going for a no-stopper. There's just 4 more minutes, pretty much, remaining, and it does look like
you
he
know
has
what?
enough
This
fuel.
this will be interesting, because it looks like Fierceby has enough fuel, but I don't think Zolo does. So if Fierceby can just keep it between the lines, I think he has P3 secured for sure.
Unless Zolo puts into fuel mix 6 and makes something happen, I don't think there is enough fuel left in this tank for him to do anything about it, though.
Absolutely, but this is the real battle here. 4 minutes of racing. I think we'll have about 3 more laps. Almost.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
Monk has to close down 8 seconds in 3 laps, pretty much.
Exactly. So
That's a hard task.
that is a hard task. He did a 22.1, which is a good lap time. But the thing is, the time is now falling for Crispy Bacon. He's going to be losing time every second now. Looking at his fuel, I think he has the fuel necessary to go for until the end. So we're just gonna stay on these two guys here, because I feel like we're in for a very exciting finish, not just between first and second, but also between third and fourth, who we are going to constantly monitor.
Fierceby has made a move.
Fierceby has made a
He is
move.
now into P3.
Okay, so
Zolo is opting to stay out.
yeah, I think
3
it
more
makes
minutes.
sense for Zolo to just go into the pits and make sure there's no running out of fuel at the end, because it doesn't look like he has that much fuel. What do you think, Santosh?
I believe that since we're almost in the closing stage, it's better for Solo to go into pits and put in that last fuel, so that he doesn't complete the race behind P6, P7, P8 on a low fuel or maybe no fuel. So let's see. We will require him to pit in at this lap.
Okay, all right, guys. So I can hear the excitement fading away a little bit. Let's get excited. We have about a couple of laps. I think this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful end to this race. Coming from the last race as well. Go ahead.
I think Monk is he hasn't made a lot of progress though. It's still on 7.5 seconds. I don't see him catching up to Crispy Bacon. I think they're gonna have probably another 1 lap to go, and I think P has won it just from his strategy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll have this lap and the next lap. So 2 more laps. He has to
And
the Wildest
7
Monk
seconds.
and 7 seconds. So 3.5 seconds a lap. That is going to be a tough call. So I think
this is going to be
Zolo
quite
goes into the
close.
pits as well. Did I see that correctly?
No, I think Zolo has. No, what happened to Zolo?
Because
He's dropped.
on the timing
Yes.
screen, it looked like. Okay, let me see if I can we caught him on the replay. So on the timing screens, it looked like he did go into the pits. He's coming on to, and this is just lap number 20, so just a few minutes back, a few seconds back. He's coming onto the corkscrew, gets a nice entry, a nice exit. It felt like he went into the pits because I did see him, with the pit indicator on the timing screen. But maybe that was a glitch.
Something must have happened because he has lost a lot of places.
Oh, I see what happened there. I see what happened there. I see what happened there.
That is quite unfortunate.
That is not the way to the pits, Zolo. You have
It's
to
a
make
last
sure.
minute pit in.
Oh my god.
That is
No.
not the way to go and fill up a fuel. Okay, Crispy Bacon, I think he's starting the last lap with a 5.4 second gap, and he's almost running on fumes. And so is the Wildest Monk. I mean, he just has a little bit more fuels. Maybe he can push his car just a little bit. But we're going to stay on these guys.
But I think closing 4 seconds in one lap is going to be quite tough.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit tough on Wildest Monk, but it's also
He's
equally tough
pushing.
on Crispy, because Crispy should not make a mistake, and then this
Exactly,
is the final lap.
exactly. So if Crispy makes even a tiny error, it just goes out away from him, because Wildest Monk
I
is
think-
gaining. He's about 3.8 seconds behind
You can see
Crispy
him
Bacon now.
right there. They're just like one corner behind each other, and I think Crispy has this. I think he just needs to go through the last couple of corners, make sure
Take
he
it
does not
easy,
make
go
any mistake.
upshift a little bit earlier at the end of Corkscrew. Wildest Monk, you do the same as well.
His fuel
Chris,
is so low though. It's so low.
it is going to be a challenge, but I think he's
I
he's
hope
going
he
to
does
make it.
not. Yeah, I think he has just about enough fuel to make it.
Yes, yes.
All right, so
And,
22 laps of hardcore racing, and look at Crispy Bacon celebrating first position
That
in the
deserves
race.
an applause.
That deserves
Definitely.
an applause.
What a
What
pull,
a
what a pull.
wonderful race to
Monk.
overthrow the tournament favorite, at least in the chat, while PSP comes home in third. We'll look at the final classification as well. Zolo drops down to
DB
6th
takes
position as well.
P4.
Dinesh takes 4th positions. That's a very, very good result for him. But this man
Yeah,
right here,
definitely.
Crispy Bacon, Dwayne, what a race. What do you guys think?
That's a very good strategy. Definitely. I
It's a
think
really
he
good
already
strategy, yeah.
he must have already planned this, I think, Santosh. I think he has already planned that he would go in for a no stopper, and he made it work. Yep.
Absolutely,
And I
and
see,
and
like,
it was so important to be sure of your your strategy from the very beginning. So
Exactly.
let's look at the final classification as well. Crispy Bacon takes first position in the RCZ. The Wildest Monk in the AMG GD3. About 4.5 seconds. I think Wildest Monk got a little bit of a penalty towards the end. Actually, you know what? While we're also looking at the final classification, I think there's a lot of chats that we did miss out, because this was such an engaging race. I don't really know where all the 30 minutes went by. So I'm just gonna give a little shout out to the people who have had their questions. I'm sorry, I had the chat right here, but I just couldn't look away. The way the race was
I
going
think the
around.
strategies and involved and everything just kept us glued to the race.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So a lot of
absolutely.
messages of discussion between Shehbaz and Vedant. So yeah, I think these guys were predicting a lot earlier that Crispy is going to be on a no stopper. So and even
okay.
MJ Duki Atma, I think he was looking at Zolo as well, and he's out there on the chat saying the pit window is approaching. Zolo, just look into the undercut, just go pit and get it done. So I think Zolo coming from what it was, third position to sixth, and that's going to upset him quite a lot. But Santosh, talk to us about the guys from third fourth, and fifth.
So yeah, as we see, the race was quite interesting when we speak of Fierce B, DB, and also Zolo, who started in P3, P4, and P5, and how things panned out for Zolo was a bit hurting for me, and he was thrown out onto the straight because of his bad pit entry, but nevertheless he gave a very good competition to Fierce B and DB. But man, like Fierce B and DB sticked to their race pace, and seems they pulled out a very good uh, uh, race behind Crispy Bacon and Wildest Monk. So moving into P1 and P2, Crispy, oh my god, I think he is the man of the match today, because the way he pulled out a no stopper was amazing. Like, he might have practiced so hard for this race. And Wildest Monk, yeah, he served a penalty at the corkscrew, but without that and without a mistake before the turn, he could have maybe closed down that gap to maybe around 3 seconds or 2 seconds. But it was a fantastic race.
Definitely.
And Pleb, what are your thoughts on 6th, 7th, and 8th? I think Zolo would be disappointed with this one.
Zolo, quite unfortunate for Zolo. I think the way the race ended for him towards the end. I think he could have gone into the pits. I think if I was Zolo, I would have gone into the pits when he made the mistake. I think towards the mid of the race when he started losing pace to Monk, I think that would have been a good time for him to go into the pits and start setting faster laps with fresh tires. But I think things happen during races, so that's tough luck for him, man. Yeah, I think, and also it's nice to note that guys like Tyson and Junior Kick-Ass did complete the race. It's always better to complete the race than having a DNF on your standings. It's never nice to see a DNF, so it's fine if they come last or whatever place. It's always a good sportsmanship to finish the race, and it kind of motivates you also, right? So that next time you're gonna get something a better standing compared to your
Absolutely.
previous race.
And the thing is, Dinesh and Junior Kick-Ass, they gained a position just by finishing the race. So Dinesh gets two
Exactly.
more points, Junior gets 2 more points than he would have originally gotten, and Zolo is the one that loses out, which I feel. I mean, everybody on the chat as well feels for Zolo, and also feels for Sushi, because he went into pole position, he got disconnected from the lobby. We tried to get him into the race start, but it just did not work out for him. So maybe I'll have a conversation with Sushi, see how we can get all of the lobby issues fixed for him, because Tyson was facing the same issue yesterday. So we did get that fixed for him as well. Final thoughts, guys. What are your thoughts on what we just saw?
So, going with Crispy Bacon, as you know, he would be the man of the match for sure, because a no stopper pulling out an RCC and also competing against, the P2 and P3 guys is not something which is normal. It is quite abnormal for him to, come out of a brilliant strategy without doing into bits, and also maybe without, doing much more mistakes. As we see in the stint one, we see a consistent lap times of 123s, and he stuck to that. He stuck to the consistency, and as we know, consistency helps us, in many ways. And moving to P2 and P3, it's also a very good position. And over to Aditya, what do you think about the P2 and P3 and overall the whole race, how it panned out?
Yeah, I think thinking about all these strategies, it was quite interesting to see Crispy and Monk, right? The battle for P1 and P2. And for the other guys, I think Fierce B also he also pulled a no stopper, and so even for him it was a good standing. So P3 always it gives you good points so that you can get a good start from the next race as well. So it's always good to have enough points for you to battle when the towards the end of the championship. So I think, and also for the guys who finished on the backer end, I think for them it's a good chance and time for them to get motivated and practice a bit more. Maybe check out more strategies for the next race and see where they can improve compared to others. And I think for Group A guys, they might be watching this and they would have learned a lot especially with the strategies. So we might see people trying something else or trying different things in tomorrow's race as well. So it should be quite exciting.
Yes,
Absolutely. I
hands down to the race
cannot
tomorrow.
wait to see Santosh racing tomorrow and all of the other
Yep.
guys. It's going to be a fanfare. We will also have a guest commentator tomorrow. Um, maybe I won't reveal it. Maybe I won't reveal it just today. So you guys have to
Surprise.
tune into the stream tomorrow. But that's a person that you like. Once again, Santosh and the Ancient Pleb, thank you so much for your time. That practically you're donating for the community, making the community stronger. It's been a pleasure, and as always, I would love to have you guys every week.
Thank you
Yep.
again. Thank you so much, Abhishek.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you,
Abby.
participants, and thank you, Aditya, for
Thanks,
also coming.
Santosh. Yeah, it's always good to see the community grow, right? So people improving and besting each other and others. So it's always nice to see our small community become bigger. So kudos to that.
Kudos. Yeah.
Absolutely. To all the racers watching, to all the people watching, thank you so much for your time. This has been Abhishek. You've been watching the Simnation India's Ode to Gran Turismo Sport, a tournament that's going to go for another 5 weeks at least. Tune in tomorrow at the same time for the race from the Group A, which, let me tell you, is going to be very, very close, and it is too close to call. Have a good night.